Now we are starting a lesson. Its name is motion in a plane. What is the meaning of plane? Previously, before this lesson, we have discussed motion in straight line. Straight line means, yes, a line like this from point to point. When it is a straight line, it is a single direction. But in a plane means it is not a single direction. What is the meaning of a plane? See this board. This board has a finite length and finite breadth and finite width. There is a gap between this length to length. This is the top length of the body. This is the bottom length of the body. This lengthy line and this lengthy line is separated by some distance. This some distance is covered with a space. So the distance between these two lines is called a plane. Single direction means we can say one dimension, 1D. But plane is nothing but 2D, two dimension. The short form is this one. If you see the mathematics, 2D means it should have two position coordinates like x comma y. That means if you want to describe the motion of a body in a plane system, it should have a displacement along x-axis as well as y-axis. That means we are going to describe the motion of a body as a sum of x-axis component plus y-axis component. This results the motion in a plane concept. So as previously discussed in a motion in a straight line, we should know the distance, displacement, velocity, speed, acceleration, such like that. But in case of motion in a plane, we should know the different physical quantities such like vectors, scalars, examples, different types of vectors and their examples. These are all the describing concepts in a motion in a plane. So what are the examples for this point? What are the differences with the single direction? We are going to discuss now. Now we will see the classification of physical quantities. Physical quantities are classified into two types. First type is scalar. The first one is scalar. In other words, in extension form, we can say that scalar physical quantity. Yeah, what is the definition of this one? Let us suppose a body has started from a position A. It has moved to position B. We say that the initial position is always at 0th position. Let us suppose the final position B is at some 100th. That means the body started from A and reached to B, means the distance traveled by a body in the direction of AB is some 100 meters, let us suppose. Same body was traveled back to reach A in opposite direction, the value is 100 meters only. That means whether the body is traveled from A to B and vice versa, its value is not changing, means the distance traveled by the body, magnitude is not changing. So irrespective of the direction, the body has same magnitude in both. Both means both the directions. Such physical quantities which has magnitude but no direction or independent of direction are called scalar physical quantities. The physical quantities which has magnitude but no direction. And independent of direction. Is called or are called scalars. Means scalars means only magnitude they have. They don't have the direction. Means AB is equal to BA. What are the examples for the scalars? Length, mass, distance, temperature, electric current, many and many more, etc., etc. These are all the examples of physical quantity. Whatever may be the length of the body in any direction, it results the same. Mass of the body results the same. Distance results the same. Temperature results the same. Electric current is always from a positive charge to negative charge, the force, and negative to positive is the direction of the current. It always same. So some physical quantities has the fixed direction. Those fixed direction physical quantities are also called scalars. Best example, electric current. The force of attraction or the electrostatic force is always from positive to negative charge, but the motion of the negatives is always towards the positive charge with respect to the applied field. So it has the fixed direction. Like this, we can classify and we can give the examples for the scalar physical quantities. The next physical quantity in this category is vectors. Another name, the extension form is vector physical quantity. Like the previous, the scalar contains only magnitude, no direction, independent of direction. But vectors have magnitude as well as direction. That means the physical quantities have magnitude and direction. Are called vectors. Means this is one end of the room, this is another end of the room. Suppose this is A, B, C. The many ways to reach the C is from A to B and B to C is one of the way. Another one, A to D and D to C is another way. These two are the different ways in the opposite directions. But the easiest way to reach the C is direct transition from A to C. So as a physical words or in the mathematical word, the direction which shows the A to C is nothing but the displacement. What is the meaning of displacement? Displacement is one of the examples of the vector. What is the definition of the displacement? The displacement is the shortest distance between initial and final positions of the body. That means A is the initial position of the body reached to a position called B. Let us suppose initial position is at the 0th point, final position is at the 100th point. The displacement of this body is AB is equal to 100 meters, let us suppose. But the same body reversed back to reach A means B to A should be minus 100 meters. Why? The reason is displacement is a vector, it should associate with the sign. The sign indicates the change in direction. Here the negative sign indicates the change in direction. That means opposite to the direction of the previous path. So we can say that magnitude of AB is equal to magnitude of BA but in opposite direction. To represent the oppositeness in the direction, we should keep the negative sign. So the examples for the vector physical quantity is displacement, velocity, force. While we are discussing the Newton's laws of motion, if a force applied on the body and the resistive force which is created in the body, they both are same in magnitude but opposite in direction. So for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, is nothing but the Newton's third law of motion. So we can say that F1 is equal to minus F2. Here the minus indicates the oppositeness to the applied force, which is in the opposite direction. So force is also one of the example for the vector. Velocity is also one of the example for the vector. Sometimes work done is also an example for the vector. So like this, we can treat the vectors with good examples. So what is the way to identify these vectors? And what are the different types of vectors? We will discuss now. Now we will see the geometrical representation of vectors. Geometrically, we should represent the vectors, means along with the directions, angle made by it. We know that if you see the geography, these are the 4 directions of the earth: north direction, south direction, west direction, east direction. The sailors used to use this machine as a direction coordinate, or to check the directions while they are sailing from one coastal end to the another coastal end. That is the only source along with them to represent the directions. So these are all the 4 corners of earth: north, south, west, east. Now if you want to represent the area between the north part to the east part, then we should draw an arrow mark. This arrow mark is almost making an angle of 45 degrees with respect to the both axes. The angle is 45 degrees. Here also we can say 45 degrees. This is in E, where NE is northeast. Now we will check this region, north and west. So another line which makes the same angle with respect to both axes. This is said to be northwest. The angle is same, 45 degrees, 45 degrees. So NW is northwest. So this one, west-south, this part is west-south. This is one quarter, second quarter, this is the third quarter. So if you want to represent the path, which are to represent the areas which are in the location of west-south, just draw an arrow mark which respect to the axis makes an angle 45 degrees. With respect to both axes, both lines, which are mutually perpendicular to each other. These are southwest. The last one is southeast. SE, southeast. So this is the way to represent the directions. Suppose if you go to the meteorological branch, so in there they will find out the wind, the direction of the wind coming towards a particular area. So clearly we can say that the monsoon changing time, suppose in the month of June or in the end of May, okay, there is a change in the wind direction and there is a change in the temperature in the wind direction. This will be observed by the meteorological branch offices. So these meteorological branches, they will find out the direction and the smoothness and hotness in the air, and they will find out some air is coming from a particular direction which causes to raining or which causes to harvesting or which causes to the drought condition. Like that they will find out. So the vectors has many uses in our daily life. So this part, mostly this, suppose if you represent the same arrow mark with Indian map, okay, this part belongs to some Kerala and Karnataka. So they belongs to the southwest direction, which gives the rainy, which are the main essential reason for the raining. So this part is northwest, this is northeast states, which are called as, simply called as Seven Sisters, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, like this. So the wind which is coming from this direction also causes to lot of rains. Mostly the affected region is Odisha. So this one is southeast, this part which is belong to the Andaman Nicobar Islands and these areas which are in the region of southeast, which are very near to the Bay of Bengal. So like this we can represent the vectors. This is the geometrical representation of vectors. Now you will see the different types of vectors. Here every geometrical representation of vector is maintaining 45 degrees angle with respect to the two which are separates the both. So the total is 8 into 45, 360 degrees. Now we will discuss the different types of vectors. These vectors are classified into many types based on their nature. The first example is polar vector. In the definition we are observing one term polar means some vectors fixed to one pole. Suppose if the reference frame or the coordinate system is changing the direction, still these vectors doesn't changes the direction. These type of vectors are called polar vectors. So some vectors doesn't change the direction or doesn't changes the direction even though the coordinate system changing the direction. Means some vectors lies on a smooth plane or they were associated with some coordinate system. This coordinate system is changing the direction. Still the direction and magnitude of the vectors doesn't changes. Means these vectors are fixed to a one particular locus or for one particular pole. Best example, force is best example. Along with the force, momentum is one of the example. So we know that these two are related to each other. So where force is directly proportional to the rate of change in momentum. So like this we can understand the polar vectors. That means suppose if a body is placed on a plane, let us suppose like this, force is changing, or if I change the direction of the force, there is no change in the magnitude. So simply they are lying on the same plane. Exactly opposite vector for this nature is axial vector. So what is axial vector? Axial vectors means the vectors changes the direction with respect to the change in the direction of coordinate system. The next one is axial vector. Axial vector means the vectors which are associated with the axis of rotation. So, some vectors, the vectors changes the direction with respect to the change in the direction of coordinate system. These type of vectors are called axial vectors, means this vector changes the direction as well as the magnitude. With respect to the change in the direction of the coordinate system. So, what are the examples? The examples are related to the circular motion. So, let us suppose the body which is under the circular motion. If a body is doing the rotations or revolutions in the circular motion, they have two types of possible rotations. First is clockwise, second one is anti-clockwise. In clockwise direction, let us suppose the angular momentum is mvr, but in anti-clockwise direction, the angular momentum magnitude is minus mvr, where the minus indicates the change in the direction. So, examples is torque is one example, angular momentum, are the examples, are the simple examples to find the nature of axial vectors. So, these axial vectors are fixed to one axis, where the reference frame or the coordinate system is changing the direction, automatically these vectors changes the direction. The next type of vector is equal vectors. So, these vectors which maintains the equality between them. So, what is the meaning and definition of these equal vectors? Let us take two vectors, some A bar and B bar. These two vectors are moving horizontal to each other. At the same time, these two vectors are moving in the same direction with same magnitude. Where the magnitude is nothing but the value or the distance of this vector, how much distance it is traveled, that is nothing but the magnitude, where magnitude is a mathematical integer. So, in the same direction these two vectors are traveling, at the same time they both have same magnitude. So, if two vectors are moving in the same direction with same magnitude, those two are said to be equal vectors. If two vectors are moving in the same direction with same magnitude, then they both are said to be equal vectors. This is also called, means these equal vectors are also called parallel vectors also. But the only difference between the parallel vectors to the equal vectors is, in equal vectors they both should maintain the same magnitude, but in parallel vectors they both should travel parallel to each other, need not to be same in the magnitude. So, if need not to be same in the magnitude, they are said to be parallel vectors. Once any vector's direction is changed to each other. Suppose A is moving forward. Let us suppose I draw another vector which is C bar, which is moving opposite to the both, opposite in the direction of the both. So we can say that A with C is anti-parallel vector and C with B is also anti-parallel vectors. So next one is unequal vectors. What is the meaning of unequal vectors? Yes, maybe direction same but not the same magnitude, or maybe magnitude same but not the same direction. These are all called unequal vectors, where equal vectors, magnitude and direction both should be same. So in this way we can write magnitude of A bar is equal to magnitude of B bar. The next subtype is null vector. The another name of the null vector is zero vector. The definition of the vector says itself vector has some magnitude, but in the statement is given like this, the vector has the zero magnitude. So what is the possibilities to has the zero magnitude of the vectors? So some vectors which has zero magnitude are called null vector or zero vectors. The vectors which has zero magnitude and there is no possibility to stay with the direction and independent of direction. Are called null vectors or zero vectors. The way to represent this null vector or zero vector is like this, O cap. What are the examples for this null vector? First one, a body at rest position. The total displacement of a body over an arbitrary interval of time like this. Initially it has moved to forward, then it has moved to backward. Where the initial and final positions of the body coincides with each other, the total displacement will be zero. So the net displacement over an arbitrary interval of time and distance. The third example we can state a body which is moving with constant velocity. If we find the acceleration of it, automatically acceleration will be zero. That's why it is also called null vector. So the acceleration of a body which is moving with constant velocity. These are the three examples to has the zero vector or null vectors. The next different type of vector is unit vector. So what is the meaning of unit vector? Initially in the zero vector, a vector has the magnitude 0 is called null. So here unit vector means there are some vectors which has the magnitude 1 unit. So these type of vectors are called unit vectors. A vector has unit magnitude. Wherever the possible direction is there, means maybe in the forward direction or backward direction is there. So no need of removing the direction independent or dependent here. So vector has unit magnitude is called a unit vector. Let us take a vector A bar. To represent the unit vector, we should keep the symbol like this, A cap. If you keep the cap symbol or hat symbol over any alphabet, it is representing the unit vector of that particular vector. So what is the way to find out the unit vector? A cap is equal to A bar by modulus of A bar. This is the way to find out the magnitude of A cap, or nothing but the value of the A cap. So this A bar is a vector. This modulus of A bar is magnitude of vector. So up to this, we can say the different types of vectors. What are the differences between the scalars and vectors? If you want to do the multiplication or addition or subtraction or division, scalars will follow the simple algebraic rules. But if you want to do the same process with the vectors, means addition or subtraction or multiplication, so there is a special rule to operate with the vectors. Those rules are said to be law of addition of vectors, law of multiplication of vectors. The natural algebraic rules are not valid in case of vectors. So vectors are following different laws. For scalars, we can use the natural algebraic laws. Now we will observe unit vector in a Cartesian coordinate system. So any vector is represented by a combination of 2 to 3 unit vectors. Minimum is 2. So a vector represented by the combination of two to three vectors or 2 to 3 unit vectors. So take a coordinate system or Cartesian system. We know that this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Let us assume a vector P which has two components along x and y axis respectively. So the unit vectors along x-axis is I cap, the unit vector along y-axis is j cap. For x and y there is a resultant nothing but the z. Z always travels passing through the origin which connects the x and y axis. So P bar is a vector. This P bar can be represented as Px I cap plus Py j cap. Px and Py are said to be resolutions of vectors. Px comma Py. I and j are said to be unit vectors. I cap, j cap are unit vectors. Suppose if you want to find out the resultant of this Px and Py, a resultant vector modulus of P bar is equal to square root of px square plus py square. So this is the way to find out the resultant vector for a given physical quantity. This numerical is based on the concept of unit vectors and their resolution of the vectors. If you see the concept in this numerical, if vectors a and b are represented by 3i minus 4j plus 5k and 2i plus 3j minus 4k respectively, find the unit vector parallel to a plus b. Before going to find out the parallel vector which is to a plus b, we should find out the a plus b first, means the resultant of a and b vectors. So where a bar is 3i minus 4j plus 5k, where b bar is 2i plus 3j minus 4k. Therefore, a plus b is equal to 3i minus 4j plus 5k plus 2i plus 3j minus 4k. This 3i plus 2i, where I is common, we can say that 3 plus 2, 5. 5i minus j, because 3 minus 4 minus 1, 5k minus 4k plus k. This is the resultant of the a and b vectors. The magnitude of a and b of a plus b is equal to mod of a plus b is equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Therefore, 5 square plus of minus 1 square plus 1 square. 5 square is 25, 25 plus 1, 26 plus 1, 27. It is square root of 27. In other words, we can write 3 root 3 units. So what is the vector which is parallel to a plus b? The unit vector which is parallel to a plus b. So the way to find out the unit vector which is parallel to a plus b is a plus b by modulus of a plus b. A plus b is 5i minus j plus k. Modulus of a plus b is 3 root 3 or root 27. This will be written as 5i minus j plus k by 3 root 3. This is the unit vector parallel to a plus b. The next concept is position vector. Position vector is such type of a vector which is useful or used to identify an object with respect to a particular origin or fixed position. So what is the way to understand this concept? Let us take a body which is in a circular motion. The circle has some origin O. Towards all corners, towards all ends, we can draw the perpendiculars. Any perpendicular has the same dimension, nothing but the dimensions of radius. Let us suppose take a body which is at a point P. The body which is at a point P is at a direction like this, at a distance smaller, because the distance is same. At any point of the corner, the distance from the origin towards any point is same, nothing but the radius. So we can write that OP is equal to R because the gap between the O to P is R. But in vector form, OP bar is equal to R bar. But how this is related to the position vector? We should identify the position of a particular point or a body with respect to the given system of axes, nothing but the coordinate system. So this body P is at a distance of R, which makes an angle with respect to x-axis as well as y-axis. So along the x-axis, the position coordinate of the unit vector is I. Along the y-axis, the unit vector is j. If suppose this position R is exactly resembles the resultant of these two vectors, it is in the direction of z. So along the z, the unit vector is k. So x I y j z k, where I cap comma j cap comma k cap are unit vectors along x, y and z axis. So if you want to identify the position of this particular vector at this particular position, we can write that the position vector OP bar is equal to R bar is equal to xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. This is the way to identify or to represent the position of a vector. It is nothing but the position vector. So what is the magnitude of vector? Magnitude of position vector. So modulus of R bar is equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. The unit vector which is parallel to R bar is equal to R cap by R bar by modulus of R bar, where R bar is equal to xi plus yj plus zk whole divided by modulus of R bar is x square plus y square plus z square. So like this, we can differentiate or define the position vector. Now we will see the rules to be followed to add the vectors, nothing but addition of vectors. The general algebraic laws are not valid in the addition of vectors. For scalars, it is valid. So what are the rules to be followed in the addition of vectors? There are two types of vectors, parallel vectors, anti-parallel vectors. So take one example. First example is parallel vector. Or equal vectors. Two vectors are parallel to each other and equal in magnitude. They are said to be equal vectors. Let us draw two vectors, A bar, B bar. They are parallel as well as equal magnitude. So these two are under the category of equal vectors. Let us suppose vectors are parallel to each other but the magnitude is not same. These two under the category of parallel vectors. All equal vectors are parallel, but all parallel vectors are not equal. That is one of the point which is to be noted in the addition of vectors. So, if you want to find out the resultant of these two vectors, let us write the resultant of vectors. Here the vectors are A and B, the resultant is C bar. The first point to be noted in the addition of vectors is, if two vectors are parallel or in the same direction, their addition is very easy because we can add the both because they are traveling in the same direction. Therefore, C bar is equal to A bar plus B bar. This is the first rule to add the equal vectors or parallel vectors. Let us suppose if A bar is equal to B bar, nothing but the equal vectors, then the C bar will become 2A bar or 2B bar. So, the resultant of two vectors when they are equal and parallel, then it is equal to the addition of their vectors. The second type of addition of vector is addition of anti-parallel vectors. Anti-parallel means maybe they are in the same magnitude but opposite in direction, like this. A bar, B bar. Here these two vectors are equal in magnitude, but opposite in direction. So the resultant of these two vectors, as usually we have mentioned in the parallel vectors, all parallel vectors are need not to be equal, but all equal vectors are parallel. So here also anti-parallel vectors means with the same magnitude or without same magnitude also we can mention. In this case these two are anti-parallel but not equal. Here it is anti-parallel but equal in magnitude. So in this case the resultant vector C bar is equal to A bar. B bar is opposite to the A bar. For this purpose we should use the negative symbol. That means A bar plus of minus B bar. In general mathematics or in algebra, we used to write A bar minus B bar. So here it is not like that because it is addition. We know that the subtraction is the additive inverse, we know that. But in case of vectors, we should write A bar plus of minus B bar. So generally it will come A bar minus B bar. This is the way for the addition of two anti-parallel vectors or three anti-parallel vectors with respect to each other. If suppose one more vector is like this, so it is suppose some D. In this case, C bar is the vectors which are in parallel to be added first, A bar plus D bar plus of minus B bar, because A and D are parallel to each other and equal magnitude, but B bar is exactly opposite to the remaining two. Like this we can see the addition of vectors while they are in the plane propagation. Now we will see the addition of vectors when the vectors are inclined on each other. So if two vectors are mutually inclined on each other, The previous case we have seen the two vectors which are in the same plane. But in case of mutually inclined, that means, let us suppose this is vector A bar. This is vector B bar. So someone has given some that to identify or to find out the resultant of these two vectors. So what is the way to solve this? These two are mutually inclined on each other. Like this also we can represent. So let us take this is A bar and B bar. First step is we should connect. So step 1. We should connect the head of one vector with the tail of another vector. Let us take the head of the vector A. Connect head of vector A with the tail of vector B. Like this. Now these two are occupying a shape, but this gap is left blank. Now we should connect these two blanks with a line. See, this is A bar, this is B bar. The head of the A bar is connected to the tail of the B bar. So the gap between the top tail of the A bar to the head of the B bar is connected with another line. This another line is called C bar, which is nothing but A bar plus B bar. So if two vectors which are mutually inclined on each other, first we should connect those two in a shape where its head and tail should be connected. Then the remaining portion should be connected with a line. That line gives the resultant. So this line gives the resultant vector. Suppose if this is the vector and this is another vector, so we can join these two like this, and these two will be connected. So this method is the general basic for the triangular method of addition, means the triangular law of addition.